imagine for a second that you need a heart transplant.
Right.
But instead of, waiting years on this unpredictable list just hoping for a human donor, your doctor logs onto a portal and just, well, orders one.
Like a custom genetically matched heart.
Exactly. And right now, on this highly secured, AI-monitored island off the coast of Africa, a genetically modified pig is breathing, walking, and literally growing that exact heart for you.
It is a wild scenario.
It really is. Today, we're taking a deep dive into this fascinating, honestly, almost sci-fi intersection of biology and engineering. We are looking at a publicly available but highly obscure cache of project documentation from an initiative called PORCOMPLEX.
Yeah, and this was developed by the Sourcing Corporation.
Right. And our mission today is to unpack exactly how this initiative plans to use genetically modified pigs to just totally revolutionize human medicine.
And we also need to decode their website, which is thera.porcomplex.com, because they've launched this really intriguing pre-order platform to fund the whole thing.
Yes, the funding model is crazy. So, okay, let's unpack this, because we are going way beyond just organ transplants here.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, before we finish today, we'll be dissecting how they're using transgenic pigs for sleep research.
Right.
And how these animals are somehow tied to humanoid robotics.
It sounds like a premise for a dystopian novel, honestly.
It really does.
But the documentation we're reviewing is dense.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a documented, structured biotechnology framework.
Yeah, with a massive funding strategy behind it.
Exactly. And to understand how pig biology translates into, humanoid robotics, we have to look at the core problem PORCOMPLEX is trying to solve.
Which is the organ shortage, right?
Right. Modern medicine is hitting a biological wall. We have these amazing surgical techniques, but we simply do not have enough human donors to supply the hearts or the kidneys or lungs that patients need.
Yeah, the supply chain is, well, it's inherently tragic because it relies entirely on human mortality.
Precisely. So the proposed solution here is xenotransplantation.
Which means transplanting animal organs into humans.
Right. Now, these are not conventional livestock meant for the food supply.
Okay.
These are clinically certified transgenic pigs bred exclusively for medical applications.
Transgenic meaning genetically modified.
Yes. But, I mean, we've all heard about one-off animal organ transplants in the news.
Yeah, like someone gets a pig heart, it makes headlines for a week.
And then, unfortunately, the patient usually passes away shortly after.
Right. So PORCOMPLEX isn't proposing just doing more of those one-off surgeries?
No, they are proposing a standardized, clinically certified pipeline.
So it's an entire agricultural system scaled up for this.
Exactly.
But wait, why pigs, though? And I guess more importantly, why do those previous experiments usually fail so quickly?
Well, pigs are actually structurally very similar to humans in terms of organ size and function.
Oh, really?
Yeah, a pig heart pumps blood very similarly to ours. The failure point is actually the human immune system.
Because it rejects it.
Right. The human body is essentially a highly trained assassin. If you put a standard farm-raised pig kidney into a human, the human body immediately detects this specific sugar molecule on the surface of the pig cells.
Okay, what is it?
It's called alpha-gal. And humans do not naturally produce alpha-gal.
So the body sees this foreign sugar, sounds the alarm, and just attacks the new organ.
Exactly. It triggers what's called hyperacute rejection.
Oh, wow.
The immune system attacks the organ so violently that it can literally turn black and fail within minutes.
That's terrifying.
It is. So to circumvent this, Sourcing is breeding these transgenic animals using advanced gene editing tools.
Like CRISPR, right?
Likely CRISPR or something very similar, yeah. They physically enter the pig's DNA and snip out the specific genetic code that produces that alpha-gal sugar.
Okay, so they hide the organ from the immune system.
Right, and they're also inserting human genes to make the organ appear friendly to us.
So it's kind of like, it's like biohacking an assembly line.
And furthermore, these animals never touch dirt. Ever.
Seriously?
The protocols dictate they are delivered via cesarean section into hermetically sealed clean room environments.
That is intense.
They're breathing highly filtered air, and they undergo constant automated genetic screening to ensure the edits actually hold.
Okay, so if you've successfully hacked the DNA of an animal to grow a safe, human-compatible heart under those conditions, you haven't just created an organ. You've basically hacked the entire animal.
Precisely.
And reading through the PORCOMPLEX catalog, the scope of what they're extracting is just wild.
It goes way beyond hearts and kidneys.
Right. They aren't just a heart factory. I saw research on osteoarthritis, mobility treatments, next-generation dental
Yeah,
solutions,
the dental applications are huge.
and even reconstructive aesthetic medicine, like advanced body contouring technologies.
Because they view the transgenic pig as a comprehensive biorefinery.
A biorefinery?
Yeah. Once you solve that immune rejection problem at the genetic level, every single piece of tissue becomes a highly valuable medical resource.
So how do you turn a piece of a pig into a dental solution?
The primary mechanism for those secondary applications is a process called decellularization.
Decellularization.
Yeah.
The documentation mentioned creating biological scaffolds. Is that the same thing?
Exactly. So imagine taking a piece of pig tissue, maybe a heart valve or a section of skin.
Okay.
Scientists wash that tissue with specialized detergents. And these chemicals strip away all the living cells, the DNA, the cytoplasm.
Everything that makes it a pig cell.
Right. Everything living is gone. What gets left behind is just the structural framework.
Like the scaffolding.
Yes, it's pure architecture made of proteins like collagen.
So you end up with, like, a ghost organ, just this translucent white web of proteins that used to be a piece of skin.
A ghost organ is the perfect term for it. And when you implant that scaffold into a human patient, say, for reconstructive surgery after a severe burn,
The human body accepts it.
better than accepts it,
Yeah.
the human's own cells actually migrate into that framework.
Oh.
The body uses the pig's architecture as a blueprint to rebuild human tissue.
That is incredible.
It is far superior to synthetic meshes because the body inherently recognizes the natural protein structure.
Okay, that makes the leap to dental and skin reconstruction make perfect sense.
Right.
But then the catalog takes this massive detour into sleep and wellness research.
Yeah, that catches a lot of people off guard.
I had to read that page of the documentation 3 times. I mean, how does extracting biological material from a genetically modified pig help someone get a better night's sleep?
Well, we've been conditioned to view wellness and sleep aids as, synthetic chemicals pressed into a pill.
Like melatonin or whatever.
Right. Sleep cycles, stress responses, tissue recovery, these are fundamentally hormonal and enzymatic processes.
Okay, biology rather than chemistry.
Exactly. Think about this. Before synthetic insulin was widely available, millions of human diabetics were kept alive for decades using insulin extracted directly from the pancreases of pigs.
Wait, really? I didn't know that.
Yes. The molecular structures are incredibly similar.
So instead of synthesizing a chemical in a lab to mimic a hormone, they're modifying the enzymes and cellular materials of these pigs to interact perfectly with human biology.
You got it. You're turning the animal into a bespoke organic pharmacy.
That is just mind-blowing.
You extract the raw molecular building blocks. So the proteins and enzymes derived from a transgenic line could potentially regulate your cortisol levels or speed up cellular repair much more effectively than a synthetic compound.
Because you're using a natural biological pathway.
Exactly.
But, okay, if you possess a billion-dollar line of gene-edited, clean-room pigs producing specialized sleep enzymes and ghost organs, you can't exactly just put them in a regular farm near a highway.
Oh, absolutely not.
Like one rogue bird flu, one breach in biosecurity, and your entire medical supply chain is decimated.
You need absolute geographic isolation.
Which perfectly explains why Masur Singh looked at a global map and chose an archipelago off the eastern coast of Africa for the physical location of this initiative.
Yes, the PORCOMPLEX Comoros project.
Right.
From a biosecurity standpoint, an island is the ultimate quarantine zone. The ocean is simply the best natural barrier against contamination.
So they're building this there.
They're aiming to establish completely secure breeding facilities, dedicated veterinary laboratories, and massive research centers right there on the islands.
And this is where the physical infrastructure plans and the source material take a very sharp turn.
It definitely gets futuristic.
Yeah, we transition from talking about genetics and island quarantine zones to, quote, AI-assisted clinics and robotic surgery.
Which is actually mandatory for this level of biological manufacturing.
Why is it mandatory?
Well, if you are decellularizing tissues to create microscopic biological scaffolds or extracting specific enzymes from a biorefinery animal, the precision required completely surpasses human capability.
Ah, okay.
And honestly, a human surgeon or a lab technician is actually a massive contamination risk.
That makes sense. We're covered in bacteria.
Exactly. So automated surgical suites improve the efficiency of harvesting these materials, and they ensure that the clean room environment remains completely sterile.
Okay, Automated harvesting makes logical sense, but the documentation explicitly outlines research programs exploring future humanoid robotics.
Yes, hybrid technologies.
Right, integrating biological and bioengineered hybrid technologies. Let's just pause and look at this picture for a second.
There's a lot to take in.
We have an isolated island laboratory utilizing AI, medical robots, and genetically engineered pigs. And they are researching humanoid robotics that incorporate biology.
It feels like pure science fiction,
It totally does.
but it's actually a logical convergence of material sciences.
How so?
Think back to the biological scaffolds we were just discussing.
The ghost organs.
Right. If you can use a decellularized pig scaffold to grow human muscle for a burn victim,
Yeah.
you could theoretically use that exact same scaffold to grow synthetic, lab-cultivated muscle tissue to serve as the actuators for a robotic limb.
Wait, you're saying they want to use biological muscle on robots instead of motors?
Think about it. Mechanical servos and hydraulics are rigid. They're heavy.
True.
Biological muscle contracts and expands with incredible fluidity, and it's wildly energy efficient.
That is both amazing and slightly terrifying.
They are looking at this transgenic pipeline not just as a way to heal humans, but as a source of advanced hybrid materials to build superior machines.
Okay, building a sci-fi island, engineering thousands of transgenic animals from scratch, developing AI surgical suites, this requires a staggering, astronomical amount of capital.
It's billions of dollars in infrastructure alone.
Right. Who pays for a fleet of robot-operated, gene-edited biorefineries? And this leads us directly to the core focus of this entire deep dive.
The website, yes.
Yes, thera.porcomplex.com. This isn't just an informational brochure. They have built an incredibly aggressive, multi-tiered pre-order economy.
The financial model is arguably as revolutionary as the genetics themselves.
It really is. They're totally bypassing traditional medical funding routes.
Right. They are establishing a direct pipeline to consumer and institutional capital.
Okay, so let's break down the actual mechanics of the thera.corecomplex.com website.
Let's do it.
So the lowest entry point is a public donation tier, which, is standard for research.
The general support.
Yeah. But then we hit the public pre-orders.
This is where it gets interesting.
Exactly. This tier starts at $500 and the site claims it provides, quote, consumer credit applicable to eligible products and services available through the public catalog.
Right.
But let me challenge the reality of this. If you, the listener, go to the site right now and enter your credit card for a $500 pre-order, what are you actually buying?
It's a great question.
Are you reserving like a jar of gene-edited pig collagen for your future skincare routine?
You are purchasing consumer credit, yes, but you really must read the immense legal disclaimers surrounding that transaction.
The fine print.
The very large fine print. The source material explicitly states PORCOMPLEX is a research and biotechnology concept. It's exactly. Any clinical use involving xenotransplantation or these biological products must comply with all national and international laws, ethical standards, and public health regulations.
Which means it's illegal to use right now.
In most contexts, yes.
So that is a massive subject to FDA and global regulatory approval stamp.
Precisely.
This isn't like backing a new cooler on Kickstarter where they just have to, manufacture plastic.
No, this is highly experimental biology. When you make a public pre-order, you are not buying a product sitting in a warehouse somewhere.
You're placing a bet.
You are placing a financial bet on an unproven, highly regulated future.
Wow.
The realization of that $500 consumer credit depends entirely on a sourcing corporation successfully navigating years, possibly decades, of scientific trials and regulatory red tape.
That is the crucial insight here. They are essentially running a crowdfunding campaign for biological deregulation.
That's a fascinating way to look at it,
Right.
and likely very accurate.
I mean, by getting thousands of everyday consumers to invest $500 into thera.porcomplex.com, they're demonstrating to regulatory bodies that there is massive public demand for these wellness and reconstructive products.
Right, they are creating a base of everyday people who are now financially incentivized to want this science approved.
It is a brilliant strategy for generating both capital and public pressure.
It really is.
But the $500 tier is just the entry point.
Oh, it scales up very quickly.
The platform escalates dramatically. Past the consumer level, the website lists institutional pre-orders.
Yeah.
The starting price for an institutional spot is $50 million US.
Yes.
$50 million. Who is clicking add to cart on a $50 million pre-order for pig organs?
Major medical institutions, massive hospital networks, perhaps even national health services of certain countries.
Just casually dropping 50 million.
Well, the platform offers institutional credit for professional products. Given the severity of the global organ shortage we talked about earlier, a hospital network might view a $50 million investment as a necessary gamble.
Because they're desperate for organs.
Exactly. They are trying to secure a future supply chain. If this technology is approved, the institutions that pre-ordered will be the very first to receive the transplantable hearts, the kidneys, and those advanced surgical scaffolds.
So they're literally paying $50 million just to hold their place in line.
That's the idea.
And if the regulatory bodies shut the project down or, viral transmission issue occurs, that investment is locked into an unapproved concept.
It's a colossal financial risk.
And the scale gets even larger than that.
It does.
The absolute top tier on the site is for strategic investors starting at $100 million US.
A $100 million commitment shifts the dynamic completely.
Because you're not just pre-ordering anymore.
Right. You are no longer just pre-ordering future products. The documentation notes that strategic investors participate directly in the development of the PORCOMPLEX infrastructure.
So that capital is how you physically construct a secure, AI-driven biosecurity laboratory on an island in the Comoros.
Exactly. That tier funds the concrete and the robots.
The audacity of the website is just incredible. I mean, Thera.porcomplex.com is crowdsourcing $500 bets from consumers to prove a market for sleep enzymes, right?
Yes.
While simultaneously courting 9-figure investments from hospitals to build an island robotics lab.
It's a multi-pronged approach to basically invent an industry.
They are monetizing the future of medicine before the laws even exist to allow it.
And it forces us to ask how we define a medical product in the first place.
What do you mean?
As biotechnology advances, the lines we draw are disintegrating. Just look at the reality sourcing is trying to fund.
Yeah.
The boundary between a farm animal, a highly regulated medical device, and a manufactured robotic part is becoming entirely fluid.
It's all blurring together.
It really is.
I mean, if a single transgenic pig can eventually provide the custom-grown heart in your chest.
And the biological scaffold rebuilding your skin.
And the enzymes regulating your sleep.
And the synthetic muscle powering a surgical robot.
At what point does human medicine become fundamentally reliant on an entirely engineered proprietary species?
That is the billion-dollar question.
We usually picture manufacturing facilities as cold, sterile, lifeless places filled with metal and silicon. But the deeper we dive into PORCOMPLEX, the more it becomes clear that the most advanced factories of our future won't just be running software.
They'll be breathing.
They will be breathing. That is wild. Well, thank you for joining us on this deep dive. Keep questioning the systems building our future, and we'll see you next time.